I bet you we're live now. Thank you for telling me that.
Good check.
That's a bummer. Hey guys, welcome to. It was a great intro, probably the best intro ever, honestly. We had a live band, a lot of fireworks. There was Evil Knievel. We revived him. He jumped through this big ring of fire. Bet you we're live now. Thank you for telling me that. Okay, now I can hear me.
Sorry.
That's all right. How dare you bring technical difficulties into this, whoever did that? This is a professional gig here, and we would never start the show muted. Welcome to Saturday Night Ride. I appreciate you guys hanging in during the technical difficulties. As I said, a raccoon showed up right as the show started, and guy's just so cute. I had to give him some dry cat food and some water. And when you put the water out there, he like gets it. He's like, you know what? You and I have like a thing going, don't we? And I'm like, yeah, we do. He's got a broken jaw. I don't know how it happened. It's just probably got an injury a while ago. Been sported for a couple of years, you could tell. You could tell he probably doesn't really fit in with his other raccoon friends. He typically shows up alone. The other raccoons come in groups. He's more of a loner. Sometimes I'll get up like at 5 a.m. and he'll be curled up on the deck. Even though he's already eaten, he just
on the ship there, Captain.
Say again?
You might be asking for a seat on the ship there, Captain.
Yeah.
Go away one time, eh?
Yeah. Well, winter's coming. It wouldn't be the first time. If I could get him to integrate with the wintertime thing. I got a dog door. We could turn it into a raccoon door. I'm not against that. I'd be fine with that. So yeah, happy 10-4 day. Great to have everybody on board. Who do we have on board? Do we want to do a roll call?
Captain, yeah, I say while we get the ship ready to actually officially take out of the hangar here, we'll check with the crew. Hey, Renee, I see you over there out the. How are we looking out the starboard side?
Oh man, it is glorious. I'm seeing Regulus. I had a little reminder today with some nice tunes put up on Dojo Earth. Loving it. Loving it. Hi, how's it going, crew?
Always love a Regulus reminder. That's just awesome. Lori, how about out the port side? How we looking?
Well, I'm really in the spa today. The ship has a great spa, and I'm doing a little self-care. So, but I'm having a good old time.
Way to make us up the bridge feel a little jealous. Appreciate that, Lori.
Yeah, the hollow spa.
Open going, wait a minute, a spa?
Yes, it's the hollow spa.
It's a memo.
Yeah, there's a hollow spa, guys.
You've been holding out on us, bud. All right.
Hey, it's in the ship's memo. None of you guys read captain's log. You're all just like, oh, no big deal. Thank you, Lori, for reading the captain's log. Thank you.
No problem. I have my bunny slippers on and everything.
Enjoy.
Well, thanks to we have on the comms Yesenia tonight. Thanks for clearing the channels. How we sounding now?
Oh, y'all sounding very great, but actually, I'm done with the comms right now. I'm gonna go to the window seat, and I'm probably gonna backseat drive for the rest of the night.
Always need a backseat driver. Also, we got to see we've got down galley Patricia. Hey, Patricia, how are you tonight?
Oh, very well, thank you. And Mars is looking like a pumpkin.
Very good.
Fantastic
addition. Yes. We will set a course for Mars and see how Mars is doing. And speaking of courses, I don't even know where our destination is this week. Things have been kind of crazy around the Federation here. Had a lot of vitriol, which I love, orchestrated through this week. A lot of grand energies and conjunctions and things like that. I've been technically busy doing my own things too. And so the official topic tonight, the official destination, what we actually enter into the ship's computer is very much up for grabs. There's current events. You have new inventions for lasagna, things that could be made into a lasagna that no one's thought of before. And closet remodeling. Is it wise if you bleed in your closet? Does that sanctify your new construction if you were partaking in the building of things? So these are the only topics that I can think of. I could probably come up with some more though, guys. I probably could, but
I figured there's many destinations out. I said the crew, anybody wants to chime in, but there's star system apocalypse now with planets prophecy, planet Armageddon, planet possibility. But then there's also simpler destinations like the the looking glass where there's two sides to your story.
Right
But I'm
on.
open to it.
Well, I did post a new song today. I was I've been producing a website, I swear, and I found a title that was misnamed, and I was trying to figure out why I didn't have a transcript, and then I realized it was a song I published, but I never published it. I uploaded it, and I probably was like, this sucks. I'm never gonna say this again. This world. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was there, but it's a great movie because it shows you the journey of Mercury as it's moving through the ecliptic. And it took me like hours to make because I pulled up Stellarium and let Stellarium run like overnight, maybe like a day or so. And really nice, slow rolls so I could get a good video quality of it. And then you just filmed as if you were watching Mercury itself. And most of Mercury's journey is forward, but then when you're Mercury centric, when you place your focus on Mercury itself, the journey itself is a very forward, undulating, almost like an ocean, where the Mercury is constantly rising up and falling down, rising up and falling down, and then after a very long time, like several revolutions, then all of a sudden it retrogrades. And watching it retrograde from the perspective, and you could see it in this video if you want, but when you watch it retrograde, you see a curtsy. Mercury steps outside of the journey of the ecliptic, like steps out of the fast lane, long enough to slow down, to dip, and wait for something to pass it, and then it follows it again. And unless you have enough math to view something Mercury-centric, you don't even know this is what it's doing. Because you're looking at it from the Earth's perspective and you're seeing a different pattern. So it depends on what you choose to focus on, but there is a dynamism to Hermes itself, the way it dances in the sky. And one of the things it does is, like all the planets, it is constantly tickling the chest of the Sphinx, of Regulus, that star Regulus. It comes up to Regulus. Sometimes it hits it square in the heart. It slams its inoculation right into the heart of this dual snake. Other times it seems to come right up to Regulus's door, and then it retrogrades, which means it curtsies right before the king, as if, no, I am not worthy to enter. I want Mars to enter, or I want Venus to enter first, or I want the moon to enter first. And you're seeing a deep communication in the sky that is brought to you through modern math and the ability to simply watch something over 3 years and listen to the sound of its voice and the way, not just the way it moves, but the way it's seeming to part the sea for Venus as it comes by, or for the moon, or for the sun, or whatever. It's such a
It's a beautiful
fascinating
messenger, huh?
story. Yeah, the entire ecliptic is such a fascinating story. I've been able to watch it for hours. I'll record these things, and it seems like the story is never the same. It's always unfolding. There's always like these dramas that you're watching, and you change the focus from planet to planet, and you have these feelings of like, look at what you just did. What? Oh, because you see you see all these planets that are all of a sudden chasing each other. All the luminaries are focused together as if they're running like a herd. And all of a sudden one will breach off, and then another will breach off. And then the two that breached off seem to join in and play catch up at the same time, as if don't leave me. I wanted you guys to stay. I wanted you to stay over here in the Virgin. I wanted you to remain in the hand of the Virgin itself as she's holding Spica, like the wheat sheaf that she holds. Sometimes the planets, they hit right there, right on her fist. And it's so beautiful to watch. And there's no sound, there's no story, there's no script. It's just
I love going
knowing.
in there to Stellarium and reading the stories and the different, like there's the Arabic one and there's the Nordic one and all of the planets and like their consciousness and the mythology of it. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
And the way that that's all moving, it's like all different types of consciousnesses.
Yeah. It makes so much sense that we would develop astrology and feel moved by these things because they're such a universal. It's the ability for everyone to see the same kind of thing is a very powerful magic in this place. There's only certain vistas or only certain phenomenon that everyone is exposed to, which is why I think the cellular hallucination is such a beautiful way to determine what these things are.
It's like the sky would unify that vision for sort of the entire consciousness in a way, because everyone who looked up and watched these things, held these things, it would inform, like you said, how would they not form astrology around universal witnessing of that, the most universal screen that we can all look up at, right?
Yeah.
The universal information stream we can all look up at.
Yeah. The hallucination really fits too, because if you're a cell and you're just living in your body, there's going to be certain constants, the flow of the bloodstream, the sudden drums of the heart, the beating coming, a cosmic drum being struck from a location that you can't quite pinpoint, that everyone hears but you don't know where it comes from. How would you hallucinate that sound? And you would paint it visually. You would go into your holodeck and you would paint this sound visually, and you would create a script that would constantly paint these visuals in a place where you could see them, because you don't fully understand who's making this sound, but you know it's important. You know it's important because every other cell that you ask, do you hear that? They say, I hear it too. And the two of you decide, we will call this Mercury. We will place this in our. We will agree to place this in our HUD to where both of us can perceive the same thing. So how can we perceive the same thing that's always there? We would need to develop a sky, a hollow sky, a place where you and I can draw pictures and see the same things that we know is true, that we can compare, measure, and count time together, simply because we're able to witness the same thing from wherever we are. That's like
The highest level of cosmology, huh?
it's so crucial. Like
Yeah.
it's so crucial to keeping it all together. You could not keep the hallucination together if you didn't have a universal sky, could you? Right. So it's an address. It's a cosmic placement, but it's also a formula for hallucinating the best optimal way of hallucinating the world. So start to look at it as a luminary or as a planet or as a wandering angel. Depending on where you're ready, depending on where your hallucination is, the good news is that the astrology, whether it be astrology or astronomy, it will always fit into your holodeck, because it's a universal truth that you're going to have to hallucinate somehow, some way. You just happen to have been born into a colony of ants that have decided that all hallucinations that are universal we're going to paint into the sky instead of painting into the floor or into some other matrix or shape that we would all see. So hollow earth, flat earth, ball earth, all these are just different shapes to canvases. And we have a canvas that we choose, but that canvas's resolution would have to change from time to time. Just as our phone numbers change from 4 digits to 7 digits to 10 digits, so too does our canvas become more and more advanced as we require a higher resolution between things. So now we have to render the luminaries as a place. We have to physically go ahead and give it a place that we can all agree to. So we're saying now it's a place you can walk on. And ultimately, I think we will go there, but it may not be because physicality gave it to us. It could be because we created the physicality through our pragmatic cellular hallucination, through our hallucinations that work, right? That they would have to work. They would need the structure to hold enough to give us a sense of reality, the same way you would do that in a holodeck, the same way you would try and draw a horse that looks really, really real, because it would help you immerse yourself more into the fantasy.
That picture really aligns a lot more with the beam me up Scotty thing, right? The into the sky and into the stars. Because I agree with that idea, Kevin, that I don't think that it's necessarily as we think, it's physical rudimentary ways that we travel to the stars. Like, I don't think that, I really don't think that when our consciousness starts traveling in that way, we need the body in that way. I would think that the body is so well suited, like you say, to this particular frame of the holodeck. It's the suit for physicality. You know, it
Well,
also, yeah,
if the science of plasma says that 99.9% of matter is plasma, and matter is so precious because it's only like 1%. So if we used our plasma imagination, we could go, like, take this body, go to plasma, and then reorganize it back into matter. Matter's really, really more sacred than plasma.
yeah, absolutely,
But plasma is so pervasive. The whole universe, including us, is made of 99% plasma.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, you could say that matter is really like the written record,
yeah.
that we've imaginated it enough to where we've written it into stone, like literally into stone. And because we wrote it with enough belief that you were able to believe it too, even though I wasn't in the room to remind you, oh, by the way, that's a piece of sand. And a long time ago, someone was like, I want to make a shitload of sand, like a shitload. And this is probably where
sand maker.
this is probably where these ideas of the floating weasel, the floating turtle island, where all the weasel could do, all the muskrat could do, is just find muck and put it in a pile, a floating pile. Just keep finding muck and putting it on the pile. So he swims down and finds seaweed and brings it up and throws it on top of the pile. And if you do that long enough, you create land. You create something that wasn't there before. So you start to think about the vertebraic nature of our history, of the early shaman is like covered in bones of like all these different animals. And they're covered in bones of all those different animals because those animals were probably hallucinating this place before we got here. They came in and did all the legwork. They were like the first crew that came in to hallucinate the landscape for us well enough, with enough enough resilience and enough longevity to where we were able to walk onto a canvas and just start working right away.
The foreleg work.
Right?
They were doing the foreleg work.
Yeah.
Right?
And I like
Even the
how
belly work.
bones and stones sound a lot alike.
Yeah.
You know, you think about matter, I think of bones.
Totally.
And that just, you know, they were here when we got here, and they'll be here when we leave. And just even how the whole, you know, the first bones to form in the womb is the clavicle, and it goes down to the spine and up through the skull. How it, you know, goes sort north and south as it grows, and yeah, bones and stones. I really don't want to go to Mars. I'm not someone who wants to go to the moon or go to Mars, you know, fly on some type of craft. I like looking at them, but I don't, I can imagine being there, but I don't necessarily have to be there, nor would I want to go there. It's
Now,
just
Renee,
more for my view.
I
Would
think
you want to go up? You could go like Lori said, and you don't have to go on a craft, but you can remanifest yourself there.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I just see physically going to Mars. I don't believe we've gone to the moon. I don't believe we've gone to Mars. I don't think we ever will.
Right. Yeah.
But I loved how we've planted that in our imaginations to create that within, you know, as we've been growing consciously. You know, you think about NASA and the moon landing, and how that was more of just a suggestion of what could be done. I don't believe
Yeah.
it was done.
That's pretending.
But it was
yeah.
right. It's pretending.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, isn't it like a magical form of manipulation?
Yeah.
Like if you get an egregore to believe in a lie so much,
There
it
you
just
go. It makes it.
becomes reality.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Thank you for saying that. This is exactly how it's done, and which is why you would need a high Freemason. And keep in mind, there's acolytes. Acolytes don't have to be the high free wizards. So it's not like you have to give all the credit to Buzz. You really have to look at the organizational that's a powerful coven. That coven is, those fuckers are practicing some serious magic. And it's we're not in a realm yet where fellow magicians like us are able to even respect NASA as black magicians, because we have to call them black magicians. But those fuckers are white magicians. Those fuckers are carving a crayon in the daylight. That's not black magic. That is white hot rocket magic, right? That is done in the daylight with your tax dollars, and you are cheering the entire time. And I think once we start to own that the reason why we find this so spectacular is precisely because we realize what the fuck we are actually doing. That deep down we know we are building a wormhole into a new space where we can create and play. A new sector of a turtle shell has been grown inside of us. And the portal that we go to get into that new space is Mars or Moon or Venus or whatever is going to feel comfortable enough for you to get there. And the only way we're going to be able to carve through this mountain is we're going to have to find the biggest psychopathic liar we can fucking find, who's going to lie his way to that place for us. He's going to die. He's going to lose his entire sense of John Henry, of his might, and he's going to fall. We're going to wear him the fuck out and blame him the entire time, and that fucker is the diamond bit that is carving us into this new space that wasn't there before. Which is why I think it's so fascinating that Flat Earth came up when it did, that doubting the moon landing came up when it did. It's such a crucial part of all of us growing as magicians, is to be able to see this ritual, which is why I tell you, I just think that coffin in the middle of two towers is always a gift to us. It's the gift that the magician is giving you, because he's showing you, he's sacrificing his own secrecy so that you will start to see what the hell they're doing. And that's why it's hard for me to say these guys are bad. It's just hard because I'm looking at like monumental fucking plasma torch magic being practiced, and why the fuck would we not study that? Why are we not pulling over to go, guys, can we take some notes about this? And it's like, no, you can't take notes, that's evil, don't you write that down. It's like, but if we write it down, no, don't you dare, they're bad, and
Think
then
how many imaginations they've stimulated, though. Credit where credit's due. Right?
yeah, it's the
I'm sure we got Tang.
I
Yeah.
mean, right?
Tang.
Tang.
You got people playing fantasy, and in any way you look at it, how can that not be a great thing when we're talking about what we're talking about and learning to hallucinate and imaginate?
Well, you know, I did this deep dive into Joyous numerology. It's got astrology and numerology, and all the planets and their luminary qualities are listed. The days of the week are listed as planets, right? So we live in a 7-day a week, which each day of the week, Moon Day, Monday, Tuesday, Mars Day. I mean, Tuesday. Sunday is Sunday, of course. Jupiter is 3. That's Tuesday. But, you know, it's interesting. Mars Day is the number 9 in this numerology. That's a completion number. So all of this stuff with the 3-eye atlas going by Mars, we've got Elon with the Mars, and it's the number 9. And in the mature, like a mature 9 is a person that knows how to manage masculinity. But an immature Mars goes to war all the time. So it'd be interesting how this plasma forms into the consciousness of maybe a more mature approach. So,
Yep. It would look this way at first, right? It would look as ridiculous as Elon at the very first, like a cocky pubescent. You know what I mean? Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. It would have to be this gross. It would have to be this zit-like. You know what I mean? Pussy zit.
look at me. I'm 55 and I need to take Ozempic now because why? Why is he taking that? It's like the hip drug.
Yeah. And if you were, if you're going to stay that motivated to lie that much, you're going to have to be pretty fucked up. Like you're going to have to get into that state. So you're going to have to enter into that manic shamanic trance where you're able to pull in billions of prana tokens and focus it into a certain area. And the only reason why people are giving you prana is not because they believe you. It's because they know you have the right stuff to lie. They know that you will lie more than anyone else. The same way we have Trump. The same way we value Hollywood more than any other industry. I feel like I've said this before, forgive me, but it is so interesting that the ones that get paid the most are the ones that lie the most. That our society secretly understands why this fantasy placebo frontal lobe magic is so crucial. We understand it, even though we despise it and we say all we say about it. It's just, you're just looking at people trying to vent their own power or their own responsibility of power, because that's how intense this placebo power is. So we would find the Rockefeller and say, can you please enslave our medicine for us, please? We would find Hollywood and say, can you please be the only stars that we know? Can you be the only ones that are famous enough to where everyone's going to dump their problems on them because of how powerful they are? I want to have an excuse not to be powerful, so I want to treat you like shit so I can remind me and everyone else that none of us want to be you. That
Not even that, it's a reminder that perception is a creative act. And they create this world where they are the constellations that die and get to live forever in our memories.
Yeah, on film, that's like plasma.
Like we still think about Elvis and David Bowie and Prince, like they will live on forever.
Yeah, those are epigenetic constellations that others will be born preset in their brain. The same way your cerebellum has preset. Hey, look, if you see fangs, then you just run the other way. You don't have to think about it. Don't worry about it. Fangs means run the other way. Same too now, we have the archetype of Elvis. We have all these different algorithms. Algorithms that we know if we experience something, we're going to feel a certain limbic juice from that. And we know that because we have an epigenetic proclivity to want Elvis. Because we've tasted that before. Do you see what I mean? We've had that taste before. It struck us so strongly that we carved it into the Enochian seed, the DNA seed, so that we would wake up and not ever forget that this is something you want to taste again. You want to taste music. You want to taste berries, right? You want to taste blackberries. The first time you find blackberries, you're just like, holy fuck. Antioxidants, is that what's in them? You're a caveman. And you know that these are special for some reason. And you know they're special because your body's given you a flavor crystal, a limbic imprint that strikes you so strongly the same way a celebrity would, that it starts to program your brain to be expecting meals, limbic meals that have this kind of potency to them, right? So it spoils us each time. It creates an addict in us every time we meet one of these things, because it develops an expectation that this is our lowest denominator now. This is now my normal, is that I have to be this activated inside my brain.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to make you change your diet. You're going to shift your body. You're going to grow an Achilles rubber band so that you can run. You're going to develop pores on your skin so you can sweat, so you can run for longer distance. You're going to develop more social skills. You're going to develop a thicker back skull so that you can balance yourself. You're going to develop much more daylight activity. You're going to stop fearing nature itself. You're going to start owning nature itself. All these are because you had too many experiences that spoiled you to where you could not return to that place and go back to that darkness and just drink from the dimness of it all. It's too late for you. You've been raped by the world, and now you have no choice but to require that same kind of activation. I think a lot of PTSD is this, by the way, that you have veterans that go into combat that are experiencing situations that just stretch the diaphragm so much that this is their new normal now. And the guilt that they have because they realize in order for me to even just have a tepid day, I got to fucking watch someone die. I got to watch someone go through. I have to watch something monumentally horrid for me to feel like it's been a good day. And they're not going to tell you that. They're not going to, they don't even know that that's how it works because the limbic
Isn't everyone
appetite
at
is
war?
there.
Aren't we all at war because of the information that, I mean, that video that went, the Kirk thing. I mean, they didn't take that down for a week. And everyone that was exposed to that, that's just some kind of whatever in your brain,
Dilation, yeah.
Yeah. And then all of the information, I mean, just like people are addicted to the information, they just can't get off the crystalline plasma screen. It's no different than PTSD,
No, it's really not. It's the same with, like I'll speak for me and my experience getting into sort of good conspiracy topics for the first time. It's like just like anything, that's that addiction to crazier and crazier. Down deeper and deeper until you finally, I guess, burn out on that one, and then you have to find dilation in another way, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what love does too. That's what sex does. That's what your first taste of probably fat curled over a fire when you're like looking for food, and all of a sudden you taste something that has like 600 times more calories than you've ever had before.
Now we have bacon donuts.
You're fucked, right? Like, yeah, and this is the kind of slavery. But also it's why I think symbiotic is the right word, that your embracing of the word symbiosis is the key to all of this.
It's like an interactive hallucination, and it just depends like from what angle you see the what is it called? Schrodinger's box. Correct me. How do you pronounce?
Yeah, Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah, Schrodinger's cat.
It's like how it's how you perceive it in the moment, and it's just it's very crazy because now that we've been talking about Charlie Kirk, people come into the shop and they're talking about Charlie Kirk. So it's like I'm hallucinating more news about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
And now there's a new quantum experiment that came out. Not just Schrodinger's cat, because the cat, one person sees the cat alive and the other person can see the cat dead. But there's this other experiment that the person that's watching the two people at the experiment can change the experiment.
Yeah.
Who's observing who?
Yeah. Well, the quantum observer is a really important phenomenon. One of the things it shows is that as matter becomes more, as we understand matter more, we start to realize that matter actually has the ability to witness too. So matter itself can collapse a wave. And in my mind, this is kind of a huge clue about where this is going. And I think over time we'll find that wave collapse starts to change the same way the speed of light, believe it or not, actually changes every year, even though it's supposed to not. It's not supposed to do that. But still,
You're telling me it's not constant, Captain?
Yeah,
Constant I thought we had.
Yeah, we keep
It's
detecting
like that
a different
spooky action at a distance. That's what Einstein called it, right?
We keep detecting the speed of light every year. It's a little bit different every year.
Yeah.
And we try and say it's our instrumentation and all the other things, the same way that you're going to start to hear more Charlie Kirk. You're a pretender. And if you want to feel stabilized by Einstein's theory, which is fucking kick ass, like it answers so many things, it predicts so many things, it revealed so many things 50 years before it was revealed, and so that's a powerful form of Freemasonry. That's a powerful form of magic. The same way I could tell you, hey guys, if you come here, imagine this, imagine. Maybe you can't even appreciate this, but if you picture ancient Egypt, imagine telling someone, if you come here in 78 days, Mercury's going to touch the heart of Regulus. It's not going to come close. It's going to touch the heart of, it's going to touch it. And if you were the only one who knew that, this is why the symbiosis is important, because yes, it's PTSD, yes, it's addiction, but you would not be able to even imagine doing things unless you had a proclivity for an appetite that was already higher. Your ability to fantasize that you can predict that Mercury will touch Regulus in 79 days is bigger than you think. This is not deduction, it is magical induction. Do you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. That you do not deduce, you believe that you are able and capable of tasting the excitement of actually even knowing the answer to something like that. The closest example I can give you is, I hate to even bring this up, but if you think about, like, I think it's Ivanka, I think that's the daughter's name, but Ivanka Trump or like a Paris Hilton, that these women have been brought up in a environment, I'm going to use the word poise. It may not be the right word, but let me get this out. In a cradle of poise that is, the nipples are all made of gold. All the milk that they drink is made out of solid gold. And you end up with a vibrating machine that has a certain sense of entitlement that literally just pulls energy into them. It pulls it into them not because they are rich. It pulls it into them because their appetite expects nothing less. And the vortex just creates itself. So when you start to think about the magic of Trump, you would need a traumatized psychopathic reacher. When you start to think about Elon Musk, you would need a deranged psychopathic reacher. Same with Lance Armstrong. Same with John McCain. At every single point, you would need someone that would not be satisfied. The word is satisfied isn't even strong enough. That would not find the world palatably even possible unless they were in the middle of the storm. Unless they had such a limbic appetite, the spoiled rich kid, that image of them having nothing but money and constantly calling the exotic parts of the world into themselves, and elephants are coming to them, and they're awful and they're the shittiest kids in the world. That archetype that you're given through what that must be like is exactly what the vortex would require for you to even pull that in. This is why you do Ozempic or whatever that's called. This is why you're doing ketamine, even though you're literally in the mercy seat of the entire world. And all you can think about is, I need to do ketamine, and I need to go find more friends, and I need to start a fight because some kid is trapped in a cave and I want the attention. That even though these kids are trapped in this cave in the Philippines, for example, I want that attention. I want it. That kind of sickness would be the only John Henry that you would want underneath the mountain, carving their way to Mars.
Yeah, that spectacle of the Tesla parade at the Kirk funeral, that was something.
Tesla parade?
Yeah, he had all these black
wow.
Teslas, and he showed up there like it's like iconic. It's just like to have that level of vortex to pull everywhere I go on. That's iconic.
They'd be, like you say, dead committed. There was this attention going somewhere else. Not on my watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, where's my piece? I gotta get a piece of this.
Yeah, and that appetite is the only way you're going to make it. You're gonna need that appetite. If we're gonna do what we need to do, we're gonna need some specialized workers in the hive that do this, and that's what we have. We've had that since day one. We had that before we had civilization. We would pick snakes in hair and say, "You're snakes in hair." It's like, why? It's like, cause someone needs to be. We need a Klaus Schwab. And they're like, "Who's Klaus Schwab?" And like, look, you'll find out in 1,000 years. But for now, we need a baddie.
We need a Schwab in the deck.
Yeah, we need something like that. And you. So whoever was the hungriest was the first pop star. Do you understand? Whoever
It's
was
really like American Idol, right? Like just that template again. It's like who wants the stage bad enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
It
because
really is.
this appetite, we want the appetite. In order for the hive to grow, we need this appetite to be normalized. And if everyone had this appetite, then we would just pull in more vortex. And now we're constructing an AI city larger than the power consumption of New York City. Larger than the entire
my
power
goodness.
consumption of New York City. There's going to be one building.
And how much water does it use?
Not as much as it uses power. It definitely uses water, but I'm just saying that it pound for pound, if you want to look at which is going to have a bigger impact, believe it or not, it's actually the electricity. It's not the water. It definitely uses a lot of water. But the amount of power that one center is going to put out. Now, if we want to say, oh, and it'll be used for the most stupid things, it will not be used for the most stupid things. It'll be used for the most important things. And you're going to go, well, but isn't it going to be used for TikToks? Yes. Yes, it is. It's going to be used for TikToks. And this is the most important thing. And why can't we get there? Do you understand what I mean? Why can't we get there where
Younger
we
generation
understand
can't be right.
this is the most important thing? If we can get there and understand that just like the dung beetle uses their own poopy to make stuff, we too use what we would call shit to make things too. And so even the what we call the waste is in fact the material that is exactly needed to construct these wings to do these things. The same way, guys, that the selfie was shamed when people were like, oh, and now people are taking selfies. Our society's going to burn in hell because people are taking pictures of themselves and posting profile pics. And that was how you related to people. You literally virtue signaled to each other by saying, yeah, aren't people who take pictures of themselves shitty? And someone else will go, yeah, I think they're shitty. And it's like, oh, we should have lunch sometime. Hey, let's get a photo, but let's not talk about that. But and then after a while, you realized, oh well, you can't really shame that anymore because everyone's doing it.
And let's design the selfie stick on top of that.
Yeah, see, I think that's beautiful because you're more self-aware. This will be exactly what proof would be like that you are now self-aware. And that you would consider yourself important enough to take a selfie is you're now a constellation too. You are your own star. You are your own pop star. Why is that bad? Think about it. It was shamed the same way that we're shaming AI. And quite honestly, the same way we're shaming the whole genre versus gender. It's just the word gender is turning into the word genre, and people are freaking the fuck out over that. So you're watching always the resistors, and the resistors are always just scared. That's all. They're just scared.
Oh my gosh, I was just talking about that in the last couple of weeks, like because people talk about fight or flight as like a cortisol response, but there's also fawn or freeze. And like the resistors, they like to fawn at other people, but you know, if you look at your social media, you have the option to like your own content.
Yeah.
And it's like known as cringe to like your own content. So like the last 3 months I've been making it homework to like my stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Dang, right?
See, and we wouldn't be able to understand how we feel about ourselves, Yesenia, if we didn't have this context. If we didn't have these imaginary silicone memory chunks that we can go to and click like on, we wouldn't even be able to contextually grow here. We wouldn't
That's right.
have the context for it. We wouldn't have the appetite for it either, because we would need more pop stars to make us fawn, right,
Yep.
over
Yep.
them and have more exposure, and then be afraid because now we're more exposed, then want more exposure, then be afraid, then want more exposure, then be afraid, and then pow, Elon Musk comes out, Trump comes out. All of a sudden you have 4-minute milers. You have people that are running faster than anyone has ever considered possible before. And how are they doing it? They are changing their entire life because they want it more than you do. And they're
And the
showing you how
dopers-
you can want it too. Yeah, they're showing you that you can have this addiction too. It's gonna fuck with you, man, until you learn how to do it right. But I will get us there first, says the
It's
4-miler.
essential, like with the Trump coin, because if you look deeply into this Trump coin thing, there's articles that say that Congress passed a law in 2020, which is right around the time he signed the country away too. And now there's articles about the country shutting down, and no one wants to talk about that. You're right. Most people are talking about Taylor Swift's new album.
And the other thing that was kind of interesting, the executive order on making NASA as like another one of those agencies, like, and they defunded it.
And no one's
And
talking
then
about that.
well, since the government's closed down now, NASA's closed down, so there's no you can't look at space anymore right now.
No more
'Cause-
imaginary space.
Yeah,
It's not there, guys.
but really, if it was like NASA, there really was NASA, and then I was thinking, well, it all got privatized. How did that happen? The billionaires own
Right,
own
but
that.
we also though, to be fair though, for the first time you have things like NGOs, and
Yeah.
and you could call Bezos an NGO,
Mhm.
and it's quite natural that you would have an individual who has the same monetary power as a country.
Yeah,
So
More than one country.
Bezos, yeah, Bezos is really crucial to expanding the appetite too. He's showing you that too, and he has a very different kind of hunger. This guy's putting clocks, miles underground, ancient clocks that are going to last for 10,000 years. He's showing you that appetite, and that appetite is too big for us to even hold. You would need a tremendous vessel of want in order to think like he does. And you see a lot of the optimum billionaire mindset in all these companies. And I think that billionaire mindset is actually a little bit more accurate because you're standing in splendor, a splendorful appetite. In other words, their ability to breathe in the world like a whale breathes krill in. And everyone around them is expected to be perfect because that's what they eat. They eat everyone becoming perfect in front of them. They've I hate to say it this way, but they've earned that kind of appetite because they had it and they were fed. They had it, then they were fed. The same way Paris Hilton, the same way Ivanka Trump. If you do that enough, you get born with it. Now you're born with it. You're radiating that. Probably the same way some people, I was one of them when I was a kid. Apparently, I was always hungry. Apparently, I was a big problem because I was always hungry. It was a pain in the ass because I was always like, I'm not getting fed. And
Starving.
that this would make sense because if I came in with a heavy limbic appetite, I would be looking for sensory experience wherever I could get it. And if you didn't have enough, you're going to find the certain ways that you can, and you're going to try and freebase or dope those. But the entire time, you're not an addict. You're just someone that has an appetite that's different. And you're living in a world that the appetites are not the same. And so everyone just calls you broken when really you just have a different appetite for experience. This is PTSD too. This is the same thing, and it's not a flaw. It's simply that, oh well, look at what you did. You developed an appetite. You know, you shouldn't be eating truffles because now you're looking for truffles all the time, and that's on you. And this is why most people will shame these things. They will literally talk themselves out of success. You'll drive the lottery ticket right into the ditch because you're just like, I don't feel safe there. I don't feel comfortable
And then they
there.
resonate with others. How dare you? So then it's like a clumping effect. You know, like these. I was thinking about this new Science of Heaven thing, book I read, and it was like these Kordylewski clouds, and they don't. They're inspired by dust. Dust is like their food. In order to have consciousness, they have to have dust for charge. And then it's like the biggest mammal on the planet eats the smallest plant for its food. You know? So it's like these billionaires, what's like the food?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What's
The
their
krill.
food?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be krill. It would be, especially if you're giving X% of your very small paycheck to them, that's shrimp. That's
Yeah.
the high protein shrimp. It's small, but you're getting it all.
And in Musk's case, it's all of your attention. Everybody's right.
Yeah, yeah. In Musk's case, it's attention. Yeah, it's
All of it.
admiration. It's wonderment. It's all those things. You know that it.
Yeesh.
I know it's probably been known for a while, but it's been leaking a lot about all the sexual misconduct of his biological father, and
Yeah.
like all these court cases and things like that. Just pretty fucked up dude. And you watch that appetite now spin itself out the same way Trump has his own sexual deviance issue. This new preacher that just got busted, and it's all over the video of Trump just praising this guy, just like, this is the guy, this guy right here, love this guy. He and I are really tight.
We got the same appetite.
Yeah, and then it's coming out too. And I think all this is coming out. This is why we pick them, guys. We picked them. I think because the Great
we deserve
Awakening.
to have a big appetite. It's like our appetite, like for witness, or just to hold your appetite to just be okay. And I don't know.
Comfortable
It's like
having that
and
appetite.
and
Yeah.
that is the appetite of someone that doesn't want to take power or responsibility in an egregore. They need to give the propaganda label of sexual deviant or fuck up, or just they need to deteriorate the very thing that they feel power like is more powerful than them. Like that's how they feel safe. Because if these people that, oh, I fucking hate Trump, this, that, the third, if Trump was in the same room with them, I bet you they would start to fawn, because they're gonna be their fear response, or they'll freeze, or
Yeah.
flight. It's not something that people just like to talk. They like to wear this representation that is, like we've discussed, pretending.
Yeah.
They like to play the opinion, but they won't really act it out if the moment came.
Yeah, if you think about the Pope, like the Pope is just the first Trump, and not maybe the first. There's probably been a lot more before him. But if you look at all that centralized wealth, that's a primer, right? It's showing you that this much wealth can be in one person's hands. And we're going to call him divine because we have to get used to this idea. So it's a supernatural idea, the same way Mars is a supernatural idea. And if you hold this enough, if you keep giving the church money long enough, you're going to notice that the church isn't even real. And in order for you to notice that the church isn't even real, you need to keep seeing how rich a single entity would be. So now we're going to give you a king. And now you see this queen, and this queen is richer than hell. She's richer than literally fucking hell. Literally, bitch has more money than hell. And we're going to show you that too, because we want you to see this is not just divine. that this can be done. And then we're saying to the fantasy, well, it can only be done only because they're royalty. So, okay, so they're not supernatural, but now it's royalty. Do you see what I mean? We purposely put this stepstone in between us just so we can slowly slurp and develop this appetite until it becomes addicting. And now we want 2 cars in a garage, right? We have those things. It's considered normal that your kids go to college, that you live in a house that you own, that you have 3 meals a day standard, that you have electricity, that you have a cell phone, that you have a driver's license, that you pay fucking
Washing
insurance.
machine, that's important.
That you apply for, that you pay taxes. You literally file a document, a volunteer document where you say, hey, fucker pedophiles, I owe you guys some money. Here, I did all the work. Here you go. And and why would we do that? Because we do not want to, we need the appetite. We need to develop the appetite for sovereignty. But just like we're going to say it's supernatural with the Pope or it's royalty, now we're going to say it's pedophile bullshit government. It's all fucking bullshit. We would need to see that so we can slowly start to see that this is just us.
Everybody was on Epstein Island.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do y'all think that complaining is addicting? Because when you're at that level of frequency, when you look up at the apex predator, most people it seems more like an addiction, or is that just the energetic paint that's available?
Yeah, I would think that the complaining is just the splendor. This is the reflection of it. It's the same thing as like, oh God, literally, God, you're burning my eyes out. Can you be less splendorful? And how would you render less splendorfulness? You would call ugliness into the room. You would need to holodeck ugly, Yesenia. If you're going to stare at this thing, you're going to need this ugly welder's mask. You're like, I can't see out of this thing. Everything's fucking black. I know. But if you look directly at the splendor with this thing, you're going to be able to look at it for the first time. You're going to be able to keep looking, right? So we use these things. The melanocytes are negativity. They're negativity because that's how powerful the negative energy is. So we cast negativity into the holodeck, the ink, the squid ink, so we can see through it, but just enough to start to drink what it is. So it's going to taste like the ink from our very own ink holes, right? It's going to taste like that. And that taste is negativity. It is us talking shit about them.
It's comfort, and it keeps your aperture in a place that you can have digestion.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We digest it by calling them pedophiles. We digest it by saying they have to be evil as fuck. They have to be. It's the only way that we're going to allow someone to have that much power and influence. It's the same thing that happens where as soon as you get popular, people fucking hate you. It's the same thing.
It's hideous, but I can't look away.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You have to dehumanize these people because you cannot imagine yourself being successful. Therefore, you're going to say, well, I like their old stuff. And then they got popular fucking sellouts. And that's what you do to truthers. You do that to musicians. You do that to truthers. You do that to politicians. You do that to every single person because you have a certain kind of ink that you're using to tell yourself that you do not deserve more success. So now we have this notion, this cool thing going around the hallway that anyone who's a billionaire must be a piece of shit. That anyone who's successful has to be a piece of shit. That's the only way to get there. And we tell ourselves that because that's what the ink tastes like, because we're trying to look at splendor. It's the only way we can look at it right now. So every now and then one of us gets a lottery ticket. Every now and then we have upward mobility. One of nature's most important things that creates civilization. They someone came out with this. Doesn't matter if it's a dictatorship. It doesn't matter if it's a secular government or a religious government. It doesn't matter. All forms of government. If there's any kind of upward mobility, it works. If there's no upward mobility, it doesn't. So you could be in ancient Sumeria. You could be in the shit tanks of Mexico. You could be in the shittiest conditions in Russia. If you have upward mobility, the government just survives. It does. It survives. Same way Rome and slavery. So appetites are here to breed appetites. We're literally here to want more, to suffer through wanting more in our negotiation. And we're here to satisfy that suffering so we will keep suffering, so that we will keep wanting more. It's always a forward movement in progress. You would not feel suffering if it wasn't. It wouldn't feel like suffering. It would feel like boredom, honestly. It would feel like boredom. Everything would be tepid, right? Everything would be, you'd just be like, fuck, I'm fucking, everything's solved. This sucks. This sucks is what you'd say. You'd start to deviate. You'd start to break apart your house. You'd start to do a bunch of cocaine, a bunch of ketamine. You'd start to introduce ways of destroying yourself because limbically you are not being fed properly. There's too much prediction. Everything is too predicted. So you need higher goals. You need to automate everyone. You need people scared as shit. They have to drop their phones into a box because you demand the absolute obedience. When they're inside, you're going to close all the windows in Amazon. You want them floors underground. You want to monitor by robots where they're killing themselves. You want to make an iPhones where they're jumping out of the fucking windows. The reason why those people are that way is because that's what it takes. That's what it takes, and that's why you're not ready. Thank God. Thank God you're not ready. Thank God you and I don't have those kinds of appetites. We're content to settle with much, much less.
Yeah, but I don't want to be in Mao's China. I like being in the spa. Like everyone had to wear a gray jacket and they had to, like follow these like really mundane. There was no upward mobility.
No, that's another reason that you got to credit the white magicians of Hollywood and everywhere else, but like Hollywood, for example, giving you sparking that imagination again for people to imagine themselves, right? Like you see the spectacle of Hollywood, and then you go through the phase and start trying to emulate it, right? And then you have to go through the same on a personal level, like you see the Hollywood stars go through with all the scandal and all that entails the cringe, right? And they do it first, and you look at it and you have to hate it and say that that's so gross because you feel gross doing it until you learn how to do it and not feel gross about it anymore. But they're all showing you how.
I still feel gross sometimes. I watched a little boy get a first birthday photo shoot today, and they were all like looking at this little prince, and everyone was paying all this attention to this little 1-year-old, and his 5-year-old brother is sitting there with a stick, like smacking things, and it got to the cake, and they brought this giant cake out for this 1-year-old little boy to make his little messy cake thing, and then the 5-year-old takes his shirt off because the baby had taken it. They took the shirt off for the photos, and then they let the kid like kind of do the thing with the cake, make the messy cake, and then the grandmother picked the cake up and threw it in the trash.
It was just a prop for spectacle. It was for the picture.
It was a real cake, but no one ate the cake. And the little 5-year-old, I'm thinking this is probably his first memory. I mean, how weird is that? That's entitlement.
They show you from the very beginning you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Lessons early.
Actually, it was like, that is something to witness. That's like probably like these, it's filtered down to being in middle class. People are able to have this kind of indulgence, throwing like a perfectly good cake in the trash.
Yeah, and that's why like it's so easy to hate, like when you look upwards and like hate Trump and things like that. It's like, and that's why he changed the game when he stepped on the political scene, because there was somebody who played the game to such a higher degree in terms of politics where he had absolutely no shame. And that's exactly what, attracted the piranha that he got from there. All right. It's like, that's what people tuned into. Here's a man showing you how to exhibit zero shame for anything.
And that's actually like, that's why nothing's broken. Because how do we evolve unless we get into this place not to do immoral stuff is just not in my makeup, but to be able to forgive yourself and not live in this horrible self-hatred, you know?
And that's what we're comparing to, right? It's like, look at the ways that we can be hard on and hate ourselves, and
Mm.
then look at all the examples out there in the world of things like that are going so far beyond those places. Wouldn't that
Yeah.
help us have more compassion for ourselves?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And empower ourselves to be like, and again, in a way, them showing us just the extreme is just enough to maybe get us up off the couch, just to even be step into our power even a little bit, right? You know?
Yeah,
Because
if you think about like sugar and our diet, as much as we talk shit about how awful we eat, in a way we really are pushing the edge of salt and sugar every year. Every year we're getting more caffeine or more sugar or more salt. And I don't mind us, saying, "Oh, it's horrible," but honestly, it's not. It really would be exactly the response you'd have if you were raising a pupus that had a bigger limbic appetite. If you think about the brain as a tumor, an epigenetic tumor that's been vaulted twice through the sapiens of sapiens, the two Homo sapiens sapiens that left Africa were just a tumor on top of a tumor, and that tumor is so hungry that it changed your entire makeup. You needed so many calories to feed it, and it's grown so much more complex that you need so many more. 2,000 calories, guys, is a lot of calories. It's a lot. You're up to like 7 pigeons a day
God.
that you would have to eat just for your brain to work.
Thank goodness for sugar, then.
7 pigeons a day is a lot. Like if you think about the caveman, imagine that you had that kind of appetite and you're trying to survive in that kind of realm. It would be impossible. So it's a very slow crawl. It's a vertebraic. This is why I'm saying the vertebrae is more important than we think. It's almost like that's the matrix. That's the shell that we moved into in order to grow this thing. We knew that we'd be draping an esophagus, its own neurons, its own thought patterns. Your gut has its own brain, that we'd be incorporating this one brain entity of the esophagus, this horse, and we'd be attaching this other brain of the heart with its own neurons, and then this other brain of the retinas with their own neurons. And these 3 separate entities would be created into this symbiotic slavery with each other. But the only thing that would be keeping them together is this spine, this vertebraic spine that insisted that it be warm-blooded. And now all 3 are forced to just produce. How do we keep this temperature? How do we keep the temperature? And the answer is they have to work together. They have to develop a whole other thing called lungs now. And if we can develop these lungs, we can create this system where we can actually keep things warm and everything's together, and you're forcing you've got a bullet to the head of all these creatures that are sewed to each other. And they're out of this
solar systems.
Out of this over like 100,000 years, if you do this right and it survives long enough, a lotus flower pops up called consciousness. Like it pops up. It's a meta consciousness. Not that those guys aren't conscious, but this is a meta consciousness, isn't it? This is a new kind of consciousness that only grew out of this slavery, symbiotic slavery of these other consciousnesses that live below it. Just like all of us are collectively imaginating God, we are building the exact same fractal that built us so long ago. So the mountains become their own vertebrae, don't they? The structure of the land itself, of the Himalayas, is the vertebraic structure that you and I build with our living reef. All of the organs that we have now. So the only way that we would be able to show the giant turtle island is for us to always have a deep hunger for more. That you and I expressing our deep hunger for more, all the Red Bulls, all of the French fries, all of the sugar comas, all of the diabetic children that are running around, guys, that's the living expression of God, of Quetzalcoatl, of the movement of hunger into the endless gluttony as a motor through time.
It's excavation, and excavation on the turtle's back is like epigenetics.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you were saying earlier too, and not we're not deducing God, we're inducing God.
There you go.
The appetite itself is the appetite for God.
Yeah.
That's what we're consciously sort of experiencing, I guess you could say.
Yep. Good stuff.
That's a crazy thought, that, like you said, to think of it in terms of inducting, which I've thought of that for not all the way new idea, but just to really sit in that space and understand that part of how the magic works of it.
Yeah.
And when you're in the mercy seat at that point, like you said, you're no longer discovering it in a deductive sense. Now you, like you say, become in an inductive state.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. The I feel like people are having trouble hearing you, so I'm gonna repeat what you said, but we learned. No, it's okay. I mean, I wish that we had better audio, but I'm just glad you're here, Brad. We practice by deducing, right? And then if you deduce enough, you can start to induce. And once you're induced, man,
Labor's on its way.
you know, you're creating your own vortex, and other people naturally come, and they're like, how do I do this too?
Do you know, it's interesting because just not that long ago, barbershops were the doctors, you know? You went to get blood.
Yeah.
It's not that long ago.
Dentists too, weren't they?
They used leeches, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And now we have, like, our spine is an antenna, and you can actually track all your organs, just energy, like energy medicine. Because the 1% is matter, but the rest is energy, like plasma. So, and we're just at this crossroads of going cosmic medicine.
What's great is the spine is all under your control.
Yes.
You control your spine. So that's nice. It's handy. It's right with you. It's backing you up, you know?
And you know, when you're leaking and what your systems that go down, it's so symbolic. And it plays like organs, you know, like an organ is played. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of spinal cords, like, wouldn't Gaia want smart cities built on its spinal cord? Like, wouldn't...
Of course.
She'd want dumb cities, right?
Muppet came out.
Yeah, she would actually be really hoping that the smart cities would get there quicker. That you would think that she would need those faster, because the sooner these people can come online. Think about how patient she's being with us. Like, she can't roll over. I mean, she could. She will. But she really wants to see what can grow on here, you know? What can survive here? And it's got to have one thing. It's got to be gluttonous. It's got to want to survive more than anything else, because this is my back and it's the only one like it. So if you're going to live here, you're going to have a serious hunger to survive. You're going to have to want to be here. And so we don't actually die. We discover parts of our reef are ending. And we go to the hospital because we're noticing that our reef is shutting down. Different parts of our reef shut down. This is how we die. It's the same way that the meta-consciousness, which honestly never really was alive, simply stopped seeing itself. That the song's always there. We are the music of this vertebrae, of all these neurons. If you think about it collectively, we are the music of all those separate neurons dreaming a psyche of what their reef would be like. right? Because they're the ones that have the cells that hallucinate. Think about yourself this way for a second. They, meaning the heart, the retinas, the gut, they're the one, and the brain, of course. They're the ones that have all the cells that hallucinate me, you. They hallucinate us. They hallucinate us on their back the same way you and I would say, hey, let's develop an imagined computer that I can tell you exactly how I feel, and it create the most perfect visual representation of that so I can share it with you. Why is this not the most important thing you could ever do in the universe? Because it is, isn't it? These are the wings of this is the only body that we have. The imagination is the Gestalt's body, isn't it? And that you and I are conscious beings simply because we're holodecked by our retina, our gut, our heart. This is truly who we are. Same way God will be that way too, you know? The same way that the turtle would need a mycelium for Osiris to even feel like Osiris, because ultimately the computer that does the most is the computer that has the deepest limbic roots into an experience of something, because experiencing something is the ultimate form of compassion. And if you can experience something at 10K versus 4K versus 64K, you are deeper into the understanding of something. So you can see exactly where we're going. We would need a supercomputer so we can compassionate ourselves. It would be the only way that we would be able to stare ourselves in the face and say, oh my God, I am me. I am Osiris. Or just, oh my God. Like literally that's it. Oh my God.
My God.
Yeah, because collapsing the wave is like a whole other level of compassion.
Oh, there you go, babe. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Huh.
It's like sex all the time. Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it really is. This is epiphany. And I was thinking this the other day, or actually today, maybe the reason why homosexuality is just the movement of love. Love is not, love doesn't have to be centered around sex. And when you start to try and realize that this is a vibration that's beyond sex, the only way the squid ink would allow you to see it when it first enters into the room is as homosexuality. As that you're loving unnaturally would be what it would feel like to notice that love is in a very different definition than it used to be. That it used to be that you were shown what love was because it felt good to boom boom, and you felt fulfilled to you felt infinity. You had a natural addiction to the smells and the pheromones, and that now you still are attracted to people even though you don't need all those other parts. Those training wheels are no longer there, and we're still sexualizing a feeling that may not necessarily be sexual. It may be proto-sexual. It may be beyond sexual in the next octave, but until we can find someone who's able to dope their way into that octave to show us how to feel it, we will misinterpret it and call it sex. The same way a violent criminal would misinterpret rape. The same way that we would have diabetes until we learn to deserve the appetite that we've been bequeathed. That we've been given at birth, and we struggle to hold on to, so we find ways to sabotage ourselves because we want to go back.
Do you know what diabetes energetic signature is? The statement that goes with it?
No.
Never enough. Never enough. I never have enough.
Yeah.
So it's an insatiable thing. This is a pattern with people that have diabetes.
Yeah.
Food but also for other things. And so what if you could change it epigenetically, there's with the frequency of knowledge of that
Yeah.
you could
Posture.
not get diabetes from anything you eat, but you just change your pattern that I deserve to have this.
Yeah.
It's not that there's not enough, there's plenty. There's no lack here.
Yeah. This
The
is.
diabetics have a deep sense that they don't deserve sugar.
Well, they don't have enough. They don't have enough sweetness in life. They don't have enough. They can't get enough. They can't get their love filled.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking with the homosexuality. So, like, maybe homosexuality is like, I love myself so much that I like another person that's like me. That's
Yeah,
like,
that smells like me.
Sure.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Like,
Yeah.
as we land, the pheromones of a man is like yuck, but like one of a woman is like yummy, yay.
How dare you?
Talking about the
I love
cynical
me.
way.
I love me so much. I love me. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love me. Well, my
Great
spa
way to get the
treatment
point
has been
right.
really wonderful. I got to laugh and
Plenty exfoliated back there.
yeah, I got all the exfoliations done. I had a hot massage with rocks.
Well, who's signing up for the spa next week? They're going to let you have it every time, Lori.
Okay.
There'll be competition.
I'll give up my
Not the
territory.
There's a
red
sign-up
cap and
sheet.
block.
Wait, there's other places to go on the airship. You know that, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a
Skating
pool
rinks.
table.
Yeah,
but
and I
we've just
think
found this whole
Renee
other.
Renee was in the hoops.
Yeah, we just
I
found
was
this
in the
whole other
hoops.
portal. We just keep imaginating, and yeah, there's a whole other room in here, and there's roller skating inside the the blimp. So yeah,
The,
yeah,
the
it's all set.
Thunderdome.
That's right.
So what are the feelings on rollerblading in the roller skating rink? Is that passe?
I'm good with it. I'm good
Oh,
with it.
however
yeah.
you want to roll, man.
Yeah, if you're gonna wear a hat though,
Bring it. It's a circle.
yeah, if you're gonna wear a hat
Definitely
though,
a hat.
you need a tether. If you're gonna wear a hat, that's all we ask. You need
Oh,
a tether.
man.
We don't want you dropping. We don't want you dropping the hat and then someone else skating over it and having an accident. That's all. That's all. You just
You
need a
have to wear
tether.
strings. You have to tie your strings.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all. It's just you wear the hat, but you just got a tether. That's all. It's a tether. Same
I
thing for
think you need to
snowboarding.
wear one of those beanie caps that spins around. When you spin around,
Yeah,
it
the
spins
propeller
around.
beanie.
Yes.
We need to
Then I
bring those
might
back.
take off unexpectedly.
That's right. That's right.
And then you'll never know where I'm going to land. And then the hat will be the least of our problems.
Yeah. Well, it's been
I
a
guess-
lovely
much
ride.
fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it, you guys. It's been thanks for riding the friendly skies. Sorry about the technical issues earlier, everyone in the audience out there. But yeah, Doja Worth is filmed for a live studio audience. And you were that. And we'd like to thank our crew for riding tonight and everyone's sticking with it. Yesenia, thank you for jumping back in. I was just like, what do you mean she's going to fucking go on the couch? What are you? Oh my God. We're going to fucking talk about
Backseat driving.
this.
She's like, I'm just kidding.
But then she didn't. And I appreciate that because your audio is crisp and clear. And yeah. We're gonna this thing's we're doing a lot with this. It's a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight, being here on Doja Worth Radio. I'm your host. We'll see you next time.
In a city full of sounds, I know my way around. We are of the same kind. Endangered species hard to find. I'll give you some alone time. I need to go catch a high tide, 'cause I don't feel free. So I'm letting you know where I want to be. drowns into the sea. I'll give you some long time. I need to go catch a high tide, 'cause I don't feel